out, Josh Raider. Oh, let's go! Let's go. Often imitated, never duplicated. That bull with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! Woo! The Raider Bear! I'm Raiders! Freaking Morty Raiders! I'm Raiders! Woo! Oh, let's go! What's up, fam? No, you know what? I'm like double introing just because I'm so excited for that. But hey, tech. Me and tech don't, we don't dance. But tonight we do. So what's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Alexa, stop. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in for R8RBEAR. Let me get started by doing this thing. Tradish! R8RBEAR Live. First comment, woo! MVP tonight goes to Raphael 247 among my YouTubers. My first comment amongst my Facebookers was the rivalry continues. Dustin King! What's up, DK? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, racking up them goals. And still in the budding rivalry with Josh Russell, the heavyweight champion of the world, coming in second tonight. That's right. He got stood up there by Dustin King. But, Dustin King, he rolls like that, Josh. He's been the up and coming, I know. Don't laugh, Josh. I know. He's been the up and coming contender, though, for a long time now. Third place, my bronze medal. And you guys know I love it when one of my Raiderettes slides into the sausage fest. That is the medal round because it's full of so many dudes, but not tonight. Third place, the bronze medal. Candy Dimniatsky! Hey, Candy, what's up, girl? Welcome to the show. Is Mr. Dimniatsky watching? JETS. Mess, because they're a mess. And I don't want to hear any more about Aaron Rodgers, okay? I'm going to take my little pin and pop that little happy bubble of all you Jets fans out there. And no, this is not a Jets show. This is a Raider show. But, you guys like it when I put foots in people. Except this foot is going to be like a shiny, sharp little pin because I'm putting foots in Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, anything green, and those just sorry sacks of son of monkeys. I had to pause to clean it up. But honestly, if you're one of these people that's on the gravy train of Aaron Rodgers is going to carry the Jets, he's going to be the best Jet quarterback in history. That's not really saying much, okay? I mean, guys, come on. I mean, I love when the narrative became he could end up being the greatest Jet quarterback of all time. Really? I mean, what do you got? Joe Drunk Namath, and that's really it. I think Phil Sims, or I think Sims was good for them for a little while, or Testaverde, or I don't know. But none of those guys were like, lighting the world on fire. So if he becomes the best jet ever, is that really saying much? And more importantly, when Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay, he was leaving on kind of a losing streak. He lost a little bit of that magic. But now all of a sudden, because he's got a new haircut and he's in New York, oh, here it comes. It's no different than all the Derek Carr stuff. You see him over there with the Saints, and all of a sudden they're going to win a Super Bowl. We'll see. Okay, we'll see. I'm doubting that for some reason. I'm not feeling it, but hey. All right, so I'm moving on to Raider business now. We got to talk a little bit about what's going on with the court case with Roger Goodell and John Gruden. I apologize for that. Not saying his name wrong, but for the fact that I'm going to talk about it. I promise I'm going to get to a point that I think other shows aren't getting to, because I know everyone's talking about it. And you know me, I'm the guy that tries to find that story inside of the story, the thing that I feel like a lot of other hosts are missing. So if you would take a moment and like and subscribe to Raider Bear Live on YouTube. And if you would consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page, it's just $5 a month. You can cancel anytime. That's on Facebook. So if you look right next to the blue thumbs up, there's a green badge. If you click on that, you're on your way to subscribe to Raider Bear Live. And with that, we give a lot to charities that we work with all over the world. And more importantly, you can win lots of fun stuff right here on Raider Bear Live. For example, in the next couple of days, I will have some really cool custom Raider glasses. I will have some more of the license plate covers that are pretty nice because they're all jet black. They don't have that stupid steel or white plastic, you know what I mean? And some patches and jewelry. I'm just got a lot of stuff coming up this week. So look for me, Raider Bear Live. It's going to start tomorrow. So tonight, let me just say hi to everyone else that's here. Marvin Suarez, what's up, Marvin? Welcome to the show. Joe McMillan, what's up, Joe? Bobby Ware. Bobby, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Ellis Irving, what's up? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Lucky Pace, how you doing, man? Central Texas Booster Club in the house, always repping a Raider Bear. Chris Strong, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Darren Patterson, what's up? Appreciate you tuning in. Louis Hogwin, what's up? Steeler Val and little Tommy in the house, what's up? Doc Raider, good to see you. Jerome Coleman, my twin brother in the house. AP, Anthony Penn, always in the house. John LaJoy, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Taking to now putting koala bears in my comments. I'm liking that, John. That sticks out. So I grabbed that comment. Jerome, not too much. I'm doing good. I'm busy. Been moving to Arizona. I'm still unpacking stuff, if you can believe that. You know what I mean? We're still we had so many boxes come over, so much stuff, and we still ended up leaving a ton of stuff. You wouldn't believe we had this war veteran coming in, and it was a war veteran with almost nothing, really poor, and didn't have furniture and stuff like that. So we left the dining room table. We left our couch, and that couch was expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. We kind of wanted to get a new one, but at the same time, we left this like really nice sofa. We left her a couple of beds. I left the refrigerator full of food. I'm not kidding. I mean, I had just bought stuff. Now, I took a lot of the stuff that was perishable, but there was a lot of stuff in there that was real delicious stuff that I had just bought. So I kind of left that behind. I had just found this pear and pineapple jam, like peanut butter and jelly, but it was pear and pineapple, and it was so delicious. And I had to leave it behind. I just couldn't pack another thing in the truck on the way here. Daniel Barbosa, what's up? Welcome to the show. Candy Diminoski, you tell your husband that we can say something, okay? Because we have 3 rings, and his crusty, dusty franchise in Toe Green has 1, okay? 1. And now they're all of a sudden all excited about what they're going to do. Shut up. Let them do something first. Go out there and win the division or something. Don't start talking about, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Hush. Doc Raider, what's up? When it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I might be old-fashioned, but I wouldn't want a quarterback that does psychedelic drugs. For those of you who don't know, Aaron Rodgers made a very public admission that he likes to use ayahuasca, which is a psychedelic drug. I don't know where to stand on that one, Doc Raider, to be honest with you. I have heard more than one person that I trust say that this particular psychedelic isn't something that's addictive. It's not something that is a carcinogenic. So you don't, it's not like a painkiller. You get addicted to it that way, or like street drugs. What it really is it's supposed to really open the mind. And I don't believe that we should take every drug that does that and immediately put it into vilified mode. You know what I mean? There are drugs out there that help you. It's just that word drugs, and we just decide what energy to put on it. If it's a doctor giving you drugs, that's okay. But if it's other drugs that make you feel good in some other way, those are bad. It's like, wait a second. I mean, so I don't know. I don't want to speak too much on ayahuasca because I don't know enough about it to say that, oh, he shouldn't do that or shouldn't. But I can understand your sense that you wouldn't want a quarterback that's doing that because you're getting too far away from, you know what I mean? Like a serious mind that's all about this much money and this much level of pressure and getting it done probably shouldn't be doing ayahuasca. I could go that far, but not because of the drug, just because it probably takes his focus away. Wilt Duncan says, tell me something good. I see, and I promised I wouldn't sing anymore. I know it's bad. I'm sorry. Wilt Duncan, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Looking sharp in that profile picture. Okay, so let me tell you something good. Roger Goodell is going to get burned on this whole thing with John Gruden. I think that the Roger Goodell era is coming to an end. They might slow play it if for no other reason, just the fact that they don't want it to look like Gruden somehow won with the NFL. So they'll slow play this. It'll probably take months before, maybe a year, before they really let Goodell go. And of course, they'll couch it as Goodell is retiring. Oh, he's got to be with his family. He needs to spend more time with his wife and kids because he's just taken too much time away from the ones he loves. Well, why wasn't that happening all these years you were doing the job? But now all of a sudden, oh, it's dire. He's got to take care of his family. I love when guys do that. But he'll do it for that, but it'll really be because of the Gruden thing. And then Gruden is saying he doesn't want to take any amount of settlement. So what? That's supposed to ratchet up everybody's interest. Oh, he won't take any settlement. So what? I mean, the NFL makes enough money to pay him and make him go away. They do. He's got a number. Okay, we can all say he doesn't have a number and, oh, he's going to fight this to the bitter end. No, he's not. Yeah, he's got a number, and the NFL is just going to have to find out what that number is, and it's probably pretty damn big because he's around the NFL and he knows what the money is. He knows how wealthy these guys are. He knows what the kitty, how much cash is in the pool for the NFL. They made $12.5 billion just last year. $12.5 billion. And the worst part is John doesn't need the money. That's why he's saying, I'm going to ride this out until the very end. I'm going to get a judgment from a jury, a judge, or both. Because why should he settle? He's already rich. He doesn't need the money. I wouldn't settle either. I would burn them down. If you really feel like they did you wrong, burn them down. Now, let's be honest. I don't like the narrative of this, and I'll be brief. Okay, here it is. First, everybody wanted Gruden to go down because of the things that he was found to say. Okay, now, people say things in private. Sometimes that could be deemed as racist, and sometimes they'll say it to a friend or a family member because they're telling a joke. And oftentimes that joke is funny in the context of just you and your brother or you and your mom, because you don't mean to offend anyone. You just know racial jokes, and you may seem or think some of them are funny. Now, is that racist or not racist? I'm not going to go that far because I can't say whether it is or isn't. Okay. I've got Charles Woodson standing up for John Gruden. Okay. Very recently doing a video and looking into the camera and saying John Gruden's not racist. If he were, I would have noticed it. Warren Sapp came out his time when he played for John Gruden with the Buccaneers, won a Super Bowl title. He said flat out, vehemently, he was very argumentative. Warren Sapp, excuse me. I said Randy Moss, pardon me. I meant Warren Sapp. Now, the defensive tackle Warren Sapp was arguing vehemently that Gruden is not a racist. Now, while I appreciate that from him and from Gruden, and from Charles Woodson, two separate players, different positions on different teams. Okay. They both had separate interactions with him. They're both black, and they both say, we stand behind John Gruden. He's not a racist. Okay, now that's nice. I think that's cool. But at the same time, if a person is racist, they can make everyone believe they're not racist just by not being racist in public. We see racists do that all the time. All the time. And so I'm not trying to put a stamp on Gruden that he's racist. I just don't like that other men are telling us, nope, he's not. Well, why? Because he behaved himself at work? He didn't call you the N-word while he was coaching you? So he's not black now because he told jokes at practice? He's a coach. And by the way, there are many white men that are racist that work with black men their whole lives. And you'd never know. Make friends with them. And you always see that that's one of the most popular sayings with racists. I'm not racist because I work with my friend Jerome at work. No, no. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying he is, and I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying most people don't go to that kind of language unless they are. You usually don't use that kind of language, even if it's in a private email, unless you are. I don't make jokes with anyone. I will stand and say that right into the camera about white people that I wouldn't want heard by anyone. In other words, I don't have any emails. I don't have any texts out there that say something so racist about, say, white people or Mexican people that if it got out there, I'd be ruined. I can stand by that. Now, have I made racial jokes? Absolutely. But more like, does that sister have a big butt? Light stuff. You know what I mean? Not, the Tiger Woods saying he's not black. I'm like, and I was giving him a hard time. But never crossing the line to where Gruden was making statements that made some people uncomfortable about race. So see, that to me was where I was like, maybe he just, is a very good actor, because there are very good actors out there that can for their whole lives make you believe that they're as straight and narrow as they are. And they're not. We see people do it all the time. We're always stunned when we see who the next serial killer is because he looks like your neighbor, which makes it uncomfortable, but whatever. All right, moving forward. So the Roger Goodell thing. Now, the reason I'm saying it sucks is not because Gruden's going to win or Goodell's going to lose, but because we're not talking about football. And as Raider fans, we're getting caught up in this story because Gruden was our former coach. I get that, but I don't like it. We're not talking about football. This feels like a distraction. Even Mark Davis has said, I didn't want to fire Gruden. I would have brought him back, blah, 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 blah. Now, and again, just briefly, and I'm going to move on from this, but whether you agree with either side or not, Goodell made a point. He just made a mistake. In other words, the things that came out in those emails were really only egregious to him. And so if they came out in public, then they would be egregious to everyone, which Goodell knew. So he weaponized them to hurt Gruden's career. I believe that. But now at the same time, I would ask this question. If he's the commissioner of football, and then that guy then gets a job into football, as the commissioner, he has the right to then police him hard. Okay, you're mouthing me, you're getting off, you're talking about, the Goodell, the commissioner's a wimp. Okay, I'm going to watch you more closely. You didn't wear your mask right, $150,000 fine. You don't wear your mask right again, $150,000 fine. And then when Mark Davis went to pay the fine, the NFL said, no, we don't want your money. We want Gruden's money. Now, see, to me, that was also a mistake. You made it seem personal at that point. And then also when Gruden, I already pointed this out in a couple of shows ago, but when Gruden announced to Mark Davis that more emails would come out, how can you know that? Unless you're the person releasing them, or how they're being released, or who's releasing them, et cetera, et cetera. You have to have some sort of inside information if you just know more are going to come out. How could you possibly be that privy to that much information that fast? So I think he's going to lose. I didn't at first, but now that, more has come out, there is evidence that leans toward Gruden winning. But so what? So what? I mean, is the story interesting? Yeah. Beyond that point, no, because I don't care if Gruden loses. I don't care if Gruden wins. It doesn't affect his life financially in any way. Whether he's able to come back to the NFL or not, it would just be about priorities. He would just want to prioritize winning over Goodell and being able to say, you can't keep me out and get a job again. But does he need the money? Does he really have a desire to go out and there coach again? I doubt it. And for those of you who say, oh, well, Gruden wants to come back, he wants to coach some more. Really? Do you really think so? Because do you really think at his age that he has the time to put in another 5, 6, 8 years that it might take to develop a team well enough to somewhere in that window win a Super Bowl? I don't. And he can say till he's blue in the face that he wants to coach again, but he doesn't, and he won't, because the scandal is going to bring it always come right back to the forefront if he's back in the league again. And they don't want that. You know what I mean? So it's probably not going to happen. Osa Raider said, thanks for donating to our back to school drive-in Texas fam. Much love to you, Osa Raider. We always try to donate where we can. Greg Lloyd, what's up? Welcome to the show, brother. Always, Jerome Coleman. Stephen Shaw, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in from YouTube. Yeah, it's a very old ring, John. I often tell him it. I often tell him that the ring goes back to when they were whittling them out of wood. It didn't have diamonds in it. It has little turquoise. They didn't do diamonds back then. Right? Putting foots in them. Doc Raider, what's up? What do you mean you're out? Get back in here. Darren Patterson, he also likes to hang out in dark caves. Right? Okay, so Louis Hogan asks, what happens with Josh Jacobs now? Now, as far as the Josh Jacobs stuff, let me say something about that real quick. Stephen Lee, good riddance. That's probably not a new joke, but it's still funny. Now, as far as the Josh Jacobs thing, I didn't really like how the Josh Jacobs thing panned out today. Now, before you make an assumption and you mean, or think that I mean, that he didn't get money or he didn't get a new contract offer or whatever. You know, that's, you know, we. Sorry, guys. That's to be expected. Not me hacking up a fur ball, but Josh not getting paid. Now, truth is, Josh Jacobs knew he wasn't going to get paid. He knew there was an impasse financially that they weren't even close on. So he says, deadline of Monday. All right, well, the deadline comes and goes. Obviously, the deadline was in place. He didn't really put a deadline down. The deadline is the 17th. Today was the deadline. So it wasn't Josh's deadline. It was just the deadline, period. So I thought that made him look weak. And then more importantly, some of you may have heard that Josh Jacobs was at the facility today, and he was at the facility today in a car with Max Crosby. Why? Why do you need Max Crosby there? It almost seems like, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude here, but it almost, because I like Josh, but it almost seems, I just thought this was a bad move. It almost seems like he was using Max Crosby to get more clout or press or something attached to the idea of paying him. You know, you should pay him because even Max is on board. You know, I mean, obviously Max is going to be on board. He's his teammate, and Max is about as cool a guy as you're going to meet. I've met his mom, his family, just, these are really good people. Okay, so I don't really kind of hold Max for that. And I don't even really hold Josh Jacobs accountable for this because he's just doing what any NFL team would do, try to use the press and the public to win leverage against Josh's position. The league wants the fans to not support him. And they do this by saying to the fans, oh, we don't pay running backs. Running backs, you know, undervalued position. So that's all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's an undervalued position. So they've just basically decided that analytics has told you that you just don't pay running backs big money because you can get a super phenomenal running back or just a pretty good one and still win games. And analytics proves that out. Now, that doesn't mean it's correct. That doesn't mean that's what will work. It just means that long-term studies show that teams that have the best running back in football don't win Super Bowls. I mean, if you look at the statistics, it's there. You don't see teams that have the number one rusher win Super Bowls. It's happened, but, you know, out of however many Super Bowls we've had, you know, maybe a handful of times, have you had the best wide receiver or the best statistic leader in the league of catches and touchdowns, and that guy's on a Super Bowl and wins? Very rare. You see it with quarterbacks. Oh, he's leading the league in touchdowns and the least amount of interceptions. Okay, well, those guys, because they're leading the team. But the running back position, it's a cog, on the team like any other. It's just not the glamour position, which, in my opinion, they've established it's quarterbacks and the number one wide receiver. But then again, statistically, you can look and you can see where there are very many teams that go on and they win Super Bowls and they do not have a number one wide receiver. Not even a guy you would, a lot of teams would consider a number one receiver, and they go and they win Super Bowls. Look at what the New England was doing all that time. And for, the longest time, people said, oh, Tom doesn't have any weapons. And yet he'd come out with rings or at the very least compete for them. You know what I mean? With average guys, that even guys that became names, they were just, come on, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, these are guys that were 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing. And they were just running all over the floor, the floor, the court, the field. I was about to say basketball, all over the place right now. But they were just running all over the field, and Tom was just hitting them, they had good kismet, good chemistry. And so, they go down in history as good players. And, would Wes Welker have done that on another team? I doubt he would have even held on with another team, because I don't think he's even as more gifted than Hunter Renfrow. I think Hunter Renfrow on those exact same Pats teams would have gone down as a legend, but with us, he's a, hit or miss punch and Judy receiver because he was stuck with poor offensive calls, Derek Carr, himself and his own injuries as far as Hunter's injuries and so on and so forth. Tremel Henson, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Let's see. Jim Vanderland, not necessarily supporting Gruden, but if he can bring down Roger Goodell, I'm all for it. Well, honestly, Jim, I kind of agree with that. But then again, what do we really expect the commissioner to do? Do you really think that the next one's going to be better than Goodell? You're never really going to have a commissioner you like. Not really. You have them in basketball because their job's easier. You know what I mean? It's just easier. The social media, racial topics that affect sports don't hit the NBA the same way it hits football, because football still is mostly run at the power bases by white men, coaches, owners, that kind of thing. Whereas with basketball, there's so many African Americans that as a rule, racial injustice causes the NBA's, always going to support that. Whereas the NFL kind of sticks their toes in the water because they know who their audience is. It is diverse. And so they don't want to upset one or the other, be it whether it's black side or white side. They just want them to all be happy because both sides' money is green. That's just facts. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying, because I don't think he's been a great commissioner, but then again, who will be? Bob Standard, it has been hot out here, really hot, but we're starting to get to where it's starting to cool down. Mark Alvarez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR Bear. Mark Vargas, Bear! Benny Arriaga, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Stephen Lee, he's done. I think so, too. Stephen Shaw, I'm glad you're doing great. I'm watching on YouTube, and it made this comment there. Not necessarily supporting Gruden, but if he can bring down Roger Goodell. I caught that, Jim. If he holds out, Zeus is up. Freaking Patriot, freaking way. Jerome Coleman, I just don't know if the thing with Zamir White's going to work. I like Zeus, but Zamir White had leg issues in college with both his legs. And then his first year with us, we seemed to be kind of walking him through the protocols of don't get a torn Achilles. And what the warning signs with torn Achilles are tightness in your calves. And he got tightness in his calves 2 or 3 times during the season after games where they said they had to shut him down and give him the game off because of calf tightness. So to me, what you're doing is you're just prolonging when that Achilles tear is going to happen, when you're nursemaiding a player through like this. I don't like it. I just don't like it. And I hate to say that Josh Jacobs is not going to get paid, but he's just not, guys. We just have to get ready for that fact. Everything, the writing is on the wall. Okay. Why has Devontae Adams been mad for so long? Why has Devontae Adams been speaking up so much? When we know traditionally Devontae Adams is the kind of player that keeps his mouth shut. The reason he's been talking so much is he's saying to us, I see the future of what's happening with the Raiders, and I'm upset. And when he said, I don't want to be a part of a rookie regime, he wasn't talking about Aiden O'Connell. He's talking about Caleb Williams. So he's saying, look, I've already been here 2. It's going to go on 3 years, and then I'm going to get a puppy. You know what I mean? I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver. I only added potential to be fair, but he's a Hall of Famer. Okay. Davante Adams is a Hall of Famer. And now you're asking him to wait through injury-prone Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell, and then next year, Caleb Williams. I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope that Josh McDaniels gets fired so that then the next guy might be able to convince Davante Adams to stay, because otherwise he's gone. Josh Jacobs is gone, guys. That he's not going to be a Raider. Now, he's already made that clear how he feels about this. He's going to get out of this. Yeah, he's going to go into this season. He's going to play football. I don't know how many of you saw, but there was 3 other running backs, there was more than 3, but the major 3 running backs that were dealing with this exact same situation were Scott Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys, Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants, and of course, our Josh Jacobs. Now, Saquon Barkley is kind of like the premier name of the 3 because he's the franchise guy of New York. I say franchise in name only, even if it weren't the franchise tag. Saquon Barkley to me hasn't proven anything. Is he a freakish athlete? Yes. Is he better than Josh Jacobs? Not in my opinion. Yeah, I don't even think he's better than Travis Henry. Now, is he freakishly strong? Yes. Can he do freakish things in the weight room? Yes. But sometimes they don't translate to the football field, and other times he just gets hurt. And that combination of 2 things has prevented him from reaching greatness to me. Do you see what I'm saying? To me, Davante Adams could quit right now. You'd have to consider him for the Hall of Fame. Saquon Barkley, can't say that. Josh Jacobs, if he quit right now, probably doesn't make it, but you'd think about it. You'd look at it, his numbers, you'd look at it, and the amount of numbers he's put up and the amount of time he's played, you'd look at it. You know what I mean? You'd consider it. Jacobs will get his money, then go back to being an average running back. Well, first, I don't think he's at Tramel Henson. He led the league in rushing. I mean, that's not average. But I would also argue, some analysts made this argument today, and I won't lie, I don't always like agreeing with other analysts because that makes my show boring. I'm just repeating something they said. But I will be brief and just say this. They basically said, you've only been the leading rusher 1 season. And other than that, you had some up and down history with your health, and you have a new coach that's getting to know you. So to me, see, the combination of events has put Jacobs where he's at, not the Raiders and not the business. See, to me, this is the business, and you do devalue running backs. So if you really want the bag, you got to come back and show me you can keep doing it. Now, I don't think that's fair necessarily. I do think he deserves the bag, but at the same time, there is an argument there for other running backs getting the bag and burning out. Ezekiel Elliott. And it's not fair to strap Josh Jacobs with Ezekiel Elliott. I think Josh Jacobs is a lot better running back than Ezekiel Elliott. But in reality, that's just because Ezekiel Elliott got the bag and fell off. Outside of that, Ezekiel Elliott was up there with Josh Jacobs, when he was good, in the beginning of his career, when he was hungry and he was fighting. He still showed up out of shape, but he got good hands out of the backfield. He can block. He can take it up the middle. He had decent speed and he had decent power. So no, I wouldn't say he's better than Josh, but I'd say he's with him, as far as quality, good running back. And so he was never going to see his money, or he never should have seen his money, because the moment he did, he broke down. I think that was just in his mind. He mentally went on vacation. Raider Speedy, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I have met few Raider fans that I like more than Raider Speedy. I like that dude, man. If you haven't had a chance to meet Raider Speedy, that guy is a kick, man. Because he's a character, but a character like, it's not fake. It's just who he is. And so you just enjoy hanging out with him because dude's funny. And he every few minutes, he give you one. He's pretty funny. Jacobs is a game changer, not liking this regime at all. Well, although, Jerome, you did hear that argument I just made, let me make one last one and just say this. Josh Jacobs, to me, is young enough and powerful enough that he's going to survive this. In other words, he'll have another great season and the Raiders will give him a good deal, or he won't. They'll trade him. He'll go somewhere else. And they'll give him the kind of money I think he deserves. I think they will. I think I see an outcome finally for Josh Jacobs where maybe it might work out for him, because I don't think the Raiders are going to run him into the ground. I really don't. I think that Josh McDaniels is pretty much kind of hinting that although Josh Jacobs had a ton of carries last year, that 245 more, I believe, than the next closest running back, which is insane for the amount of snaps. and yards and touchdowns, he was 245 snaps more than any other running back in the league, which is outrageous. Now, having said that, if he does it again, you pay him. If you don't, he takes those yards and that work, he goes somewhere else and he gets paid for those credentials. It's going to happen. So, all right. Raider Speedy always, especially with you, brother. Troy Gill, what's up? Welcome to the show. R8RBEAR, so what's the bottom line? Is Josh Jacobs going to play for us this year or not? Doc Raider, he is going to play for us. I don't even think he's going to miss games now. I really don't. I think he's going to sign the franchise tag and everything, but we, the Raiders franchise, can't penalize Josh Jacobs right now. They can't penalize him. So because they can't penalize him until the season starts, he'll show up. He'll probably sign the franchise tag right around that last preseason game to give himself 1 week to get into the facility, prepare for for Sunday night football, Sunday football, and then go out there and start. Now, will Josh McDaniels let him start? I would say yeah. Because unlike in the past where a coach would feel like, oh, he's holding out, I have to punish him, the era of that kind of thing has changed because coaches understand that free agency holdouts, which are no longer called holdouts now, they're called negotiations because they don't like the word holdout because it has a negative connotation. Aloha Bear and Raider Nation. Josh Jacobs now has to play if he wants under the franchise tag at 10.1 million. Is a bag of money to take it and put in your work. Rick Samarano, I'm at the point of saying that too. Sign the franchise tag and go put in work. You know what I mean? You didn't get a deal done by the 17th. Now just look like a good soldier. You know what I mean? Not because you should, but because you should for your career financially with whoever's next. Because wherever he lands next, if it's not with us, but if he ends up landing somewhere next, they're going to look at what he's doing right now. And could anyone see him going to the Saints? Maybe they move on from Alvin Kamara. I know there have been, rumblings about that. And I would argue that right now, Josh Jacobs is better than Alvin Kamara. Now, if you had Alvin Kamara at his prime before the injuries and Josh Jacobs, that's a tough call because Alvin Kamara is a bad dude. But at this point in his career, there's no contest. Josh Jacobs is the better man of the two. Robert Cortez says, get rid of cancer. 100% agree with you, brother. We're working with St. Jude's and early onset cancer in children. So STARS contributed to the show. We used to go to that cause. We have many others, but that's one we go to directly is early onset cancer research. So just know, brother, we're in the fight with you. Robert Cortez says, that's not good. It sounds like we're already going to have a high draft pick this year. I hate to admit it, but there is a good chance that we have another season that appears like we're tanking because they do want to assure that we get Caleb Williams. But we have a roster that could accidentally win 9 games. I mean, you've got a number 1, top 5, I'd say top 3 defensive ends in football. You could argue he's number 1, okay? Now, is he number 1 by everyone's standards? No, not everyone's going to mark him as number 1. So you can't say he's number 1. He wouldn't get most number 1 votes, but would he be top 3? I think for sure. Mad Max Crosby, my favorite player right now, is easily top 3. Now, then you add Devontae Adams, who's also easily top 3, if not number 1. Okay. Then you add a slot guy where we have 3 or 4 slot guys that are good slot receivers. You have a nice possession receiver at the number 2 position that we brought over from the New England Patriots. You have a running back who's number 1 in the league last year, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he can block. You have Colton Miller, who's a top 10 left tackle. Now, he just squeaked in. I didn't feel like that was fair. They made him the 10th choice at best offensive left tackles, but I think that's silly. I don't think he's the 10th best tackle in football. I just don't. I think he's better than that. I would say he's more like top 7. Not an offensive, saying he's 10th, but I would say he's more like 7. And you have that much talent on your roster as a coach, you should be able to accidentally come in and get 9 wins. 6 wins? That's what we got last year, 6. You know what I mean? With Josh Jacobs killing himself, carrying us through the year. And we only got 6 wins. So, with the talent we have and everyone coming together, The quarterback situation's a little bit more solid. I know that sounds crazy to say, but Derek Carr did not know that offense. He didn't like the offense. He didn't like the coach. We're bringing in a guy now that if we can keep him from getting injured, he likes the coach. He likes this offense. And if you could say any one positive that never goes away about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I know some of you may not realize this, or maybe not have thought about this, but if there is one thing about Garoppolo that's universal, no matter where he goes, guys like him. I was surprised to hear that, but every locker room he's been in, guys like him. And I'm hearing already that in the Raiders locker room, guys like him. He's a guy's guy. And men that know that term know what I'm talking about. He's a guy's guy. It means something. For those of you who don't know what guy's guy means, I'll be brief. It just basically means he's one of those guys that can walk into a room with other men and get along with almost all of them like that, like real fast. And the Niners were, said it over and over again that for his ups and downs, his drawbacks, his injuries, you never heard one bad word out of the locker room about him. Not from a single player. Not one. That's unusual. Usually when you have a quarterback that's controversial, that's getting injuries that end his season without contact, no one hit him, and he had a season-ending injury. And then he's going to be off the team. Then he's back on the team. Then you rehab and you get him ready. Then he gets hurt again. And so the Niners had every right to say, hey, we had a lot of hopes for this guy, but he didn't pan out. He was frustrating, blah, 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 blah. And never heard that. Not once. One of the weirdest, lamest takes I've ever heard, too, was that I'm sorry I'm going in on this, but was that Shanahan, the coach of the Niners, deserves a Super Bowl. I heard that kid, Colin Cowherd, say that, and I had to about start laughing. I mean, since when do we say coaches deserve Super Bowls? I mean, I know a lot of people think Colin Cowherd has his head up his, chute, but I mean, that one was new for me. Even with him, that one was new for me. I mean, he deserves a Super Bowl now. Really? What gave you that impression? The 28-point lead that he was mostly instrumental in losing in a Super Bowl? Or the other one where he had a 20-10 lead and couldn't get that to the finish line? That guy? And now has slowly, since that last Super Bowl loss, his team has regressed the last 2 years. Oh, and by the way, he took like every trade and every guy he had to leverage to get some guy named Trey Lance, who came from some little small subpar school. He had almost no education in a pro-style offense. He didn't run an offense that took the ball from center. It was almost entirely shotgun in a little tiny little AAA league. And that's what he thought was the future of the Niners. A guy now who they've already found out, they could have called me an ass because I said it before he was even a Niner, that the guy's going to be a bum. You don't bring guys to the NFL. I want to go to the NFL. You don't bring guys up to the NFL level and say, I'm going to teach him this. The moment, I'm not trying to be harsh, but the moment I hear you say to me, oh, we're going to make that guy, he's a right tackle, but we're going to make him the best center in football. No, you're not. You might make him into a serviceable one. That's the highest likelihood, is that he might be serviceable. He's not going to be a star. Look at Andre James. I mean, what he did, our center, Andre James, what he did, it's amazing. It's not even talked about. I mean, he's close to all pro at center, and he never played center. He watched Rodney Hudson, one of the best centers in football, who played for us for a few seasons. And Andre James learned from him. And then they said, okay, here's the job, Andre. And by the way, we're bringing in Dylan Parham to take your job. And he said, watch this. Somebody hold my beer. And Dylan Parham didn't get his job because he played him out of it. You know what I mean? So, that's rare. And then look at the kid, the wide receiver that used to play for the Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill is now he's with the Titans. Ryan Tannehill was a wide receiver coming out of college. He goes to the Dolphins and they're like, you know what? We need a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill's like, yeah, I played a little quarterback in high school and they just throw him out there. And he did it. He's one of the few guys that's had any success. He hasn't really won anything, but he wins games. He's been driving a winning team for a while now. Both with the Dolphins were on the come up. Right when they started to win, they let him go. And then the Titans, he went there and took the job from what's his face that ended up being our backup for 5 minutes. All right, let me go back to I had all this subject matter I was writing down for us to talk about, because I don't usually take too much notes. I'm really strictly a live guy, but I had some things I wanted to make sure I didn't forget, like the question about whether or not Josh Jacobs will stay a Raider or not. I just think there's no chance, because if that was going to happen, they would have worked out something with him. I mean, what's going from 10 to 13? You know what I mean? When we already know he's that good. I mean, he's not everyone's Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I mean? I really do not think Josh Jacobs is the kind of person that's going to come into your front office and say, well, I've got my money now, so I'm going to get, slow and fat and act cocky every day. I just don't see that. Not Josh Jacobs. I saw Ezekiel Elliott before he even got the money. But with Josh Jacobs, I don't see that. He came from nothing. I mean, nothing. And sometimes guys that come from nothing, they do become like high spenders and say, gimme, gimme, gimme. That's what happened with Dwight Howard in the NBA. He had nothing. He lived on a hill in a church and was like a Mormon and raised in private and really, really sheltered guy, Dwight Howard. And then the moment he got money, he just went crazy. Bought 100 suits and 3 houses and 15 cars. And, you don't need all that crap. But he couldn't help it. He didn't know any different. I don't think Josh Jacobs was like that. I think he'll be great. Okay, let's see. The point about my Goodell comment is that he's had a feud with the Raiders and or Al Davis from when he was an underling. So F him. Yeah, and all of that. I mean, if you really don't like him, Jim, I mean, all of that's going to count against him. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, the idea that him and Gruden have been going at it for years is just true. But I don't think that takes away from the fact that Gruden also did and say the things he did in those emails. Now, again, whether that's fair to him or not, because he wasn't in the NFL when he sent those emails, et cetera, I agree. That's not fair. But at the same time, Roger Goodell was made grand poobah, all, encompassing, I decide all things. So once he saw those things being said about him, you notice Gruden was in the league at that point, once they did find it. So people say, oh, well, it was egregious. He's going after Gruden. Is he going after Gruden? Because if Gruden hadn't been in the league, those emails would have still come out. Would he have then released those emails if Gruden wasn't in the NFL and was still just doing TV and stuff? I don't think so. So he released them because Gruden was in the NFL. But was it to get even with him, or because he had genuine evidence that was going to make the league look bad if it came out? But then again, it wasn't going to come out. It came out because of Roger Goodell. So see, it's a catch-22. He loses no matter how you frame the argument. It looks like he's going to lose. Joseph Bear, hey, Joseph, wait till you see the monsoons here in Arizona. You're going to love it. Thanks a lot, Andrew Lucky DeLeon. I doubt that. It sounds like we're going to have a high draft pick this year. Yeah, Robert Cortez. I hate to say that, but I think we are. Bozilla, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I sure don't put Barkley on the same level as Barry Sanders, but like Sanders, Barkley has never had an offensive line. Doc Rader, that's a great point, but at the same time, you don't get to argue why your resume isn't great. You know what I mean? His resume is not great. It just isn't. It's good, but not great. It has potential through the roof, but potential, you don't pay for potential. So, whereas, Barry Sanders always proved it. I don't think you can compare Saquon Barkley to Barry Sanders at all. And I know you said that. So, then if Adams doesn't want to be here, will the Raiders trade him? Troy Gill, I don't know that they'll trade him, but I would say you will, because you don't want it to get out how unhappy he is. He's already spoken on multiple occasions. To me, he could put you in a position where it's hard to get a good deal for him, because teams will know that you have to make a deal because he's unhappy. Whereas if he was happy and teams were calling and were interested, you could argue, hey, you're going to have to give me some draft picks here. And really, they better be good ones, because the guy's happy here. We're happy with the guy. So you're going to have to really roll out the red carpet. Well, if you know the player's unhappy, you don't have to do that. Mike Ramirez, I don't think he's going to wait till week 1. I think he's going to do something closer to what Scott Pollard did. Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys is one of the 3 backs that was in the exact same situation as Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. And Pollard signed his contract already today. As soon as he saw, okay, we're not going to have a deal. Okay, then I'll sign the franchise tag. See, to me, that's just professional. It's just professional. It doesn't mean that your circumstances don't suck. It doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve more money. Why can't he sign the franchise tag and then complain about it? I don't mind that. Go sign the franchise tag and then tell us all you're pissed about it. Tell us what you think you deserve. Go out and play well, show up on time, kick ass, and then come out and say, you see, look what I'm doing. This is why I was complaining about this whole franchise tag thing. I don't mind if he does it all week, all season. You know what I mean? Argue for your money. And then go out and play fantastic and force the Raiders back into a situation where now when teams come looking for him, he's been a good soldier. He looks like where he's going to go. He's going to be a good soldier. If he gets screwed around with his contract a little bit, he'll deal with it. Maybe he talks about it in the press a little bit, but he's going to come in. He's going to be a good soldier. He's going to do his job, do it hard. And then in the press, maybe he gives you, the business a little bit here and there. So what? You know what I mean? Josh McDaniel, the Raiders, they can take it. And if they can't, they shouldn't be in this business. Joey Rivera, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Mike Brown, I see you there. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, here we go. Michael Guerrero, what's up, brother? Tanamoku, I read he was in the parking lot at headquarters in the car with Crosby waiting to sign. See, Tana, why was he doing that if he knew that they weren't going to cut a deal? And people say, oh, he was waiting until the last minute. Do you really think that at any moment they were going to suddenly go, okay, Josh, okay. I know we've only got 7 minutes before the deadline. How about 11.5? No? Okay, Josh, how about 11.58 with incentives? Hello? Josh, are you still there? No, he's not. He's in the car, hung up on you, bitching at Max Crosby. You know what I mean? And getting ready for the press. He knew there was, he was just there for the press. You know what I mean? And I don't mind that, you know what I mean? But it was a stunt. I mean, let's be honest. It was a stunt. You know what I mean? It was to get us on his side. It was for us to understand what he's going through. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any problem with that. But it's a stunt. He didn't show up, hoping that there was going to be a deal. No, he knew there was going to be no deal. He knew for sure there was going to be no deal. Mark Vargas, we could win 11 games if we don't tank and if the coaching of the players improves. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make it seem like it's this simple thing, but it really is. Josh McDaniels has to impart his Haas offense, on these players. And that can take time sometimes if you're not an excessive coach. And I think he needs to exceed where he has in the past. If that means change it up, if it means add more coaches, if it means equate more time to the classroom with the players so that they understand this adjustment means this and this audible means this. Because I just think sometimes we lose games because those guys go out there and they just don't know what the play call is and they wing it and then go, oh, sorry, I thought it was Y22 Dragon, not split banana 33. No, we can't win if you don't know. Because maybe we were going to go to you and now we can't because you're running a hook and drag and we're looking for a stop and go. Stephen Lee, you can't tell Max to tank, but what you can do is call bad plays. Because to be honest with you, it wasn't the defense tanking. The defense was already poor. So now as an offense, if you stop scoring and you keep putting the defense out there, in addition to the fact that they're struggling to gain their footing, they're going to look bad. They're going to give up yards, whether they're playing hard or not. I mean, look back to that Cardinals game. We lost by 2 points in the last seconds. We could not get that little scrumbling around the place, little rat on the ground. Kyler Murray is not a rat. I shouldn't say that. But we just couldn't get him on the ground. You know what I mean? We've got to get more guys that can get a guy and get him on the ground. Steeler Val, yes. Tommy, yes. That's my guy. I always preach my twin brother. What's up, Raider Bear and the Raider fans? Lonnie Lucero, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Okay, let's see. The Raiders are never going to pay Jacobs the bag he wants. Whatever the Raiders are offering, he has to accept it or sign that tag and move on after the season. I see us offering Dalvin Cook the same contract at the same point, and Jacobs left out in the wind. Lucky Pace, I always appreciate your comments. Welcome to the show. And I have nothing to say on that. I kind of agree with you. Jimmy G brings them hoes. He earned that nickname Jimmy G Spot, didn't he, Michael Terminelli? I don't know, man. Whenever you take a porn star to dinner and you purposely walk her out in front of the paparazzi, can you blame people for calling you Jimmy G Spot? I mean, he set himself up for this. And not only that, his career now, almost no matter what he does, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, it's going to go down as the guy who took a porn star out to dinner, opened the car for her like a gentleman, shut the car door for her, walks around to the driver's side, and then goes, and just cheesy grins it for the cameras. Come on, for those of you who remember that moment, I'm not exaggerating. He really did. I mean, he wanted everybody to know we had dinner, and now guess where we're going? You think he never had sex before. He's like, what's up, man? It's not like this is a family show. Andy Reid, body wanted him to get a ring. Yeah, I agree. Shanahan is dumber than dirt. Jim Van Run, I don't think he's dumber than dirt. I think he's a very good offensive coordinator who shouldn't have been a coach. And I think he's a good offensive coordinator, but I think he's stubborn. Remember going back to the Super Bowl when he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons and the Patriots were trying to come back in the game. Once they were trying to come back and you had established a lead, why aren't you running the ball? And he just got away from the running game. And by doing that and throwing the ball so much, he was stopping the clock and allowing the Patriots to not have to use their timeouts and get back into the game. It was just a massive tactical error. You've got to know if you've got the lead and time is on your side and it's a Super Bowl, you've got to slow the game down. Run the ball, help your defense. Throw all those little short passes that you know so well. Run the ball left, right, left, little short pass. Stop trying to be dynamic and explosive. You're going right into the Patriots' hands, and that's what he did the whole Super Bowl, and he lost. I don't like looking back at that and then looking at Shanahan's overall career and saying, oh, yeah, he's a great coach. No, he's not. He's a good coach. He's innovative, but he's not a great coach because he doesn't even know how to get out of his own way. Put it, foot in him. It's true. Yeah, but our coach says that he can turn any high school quarterback into an all-pro. Tana, that's why I'm excited about Aiden O'Connell. I'm not going to lie. I feel like if we would just get out of the way and give Aiden O'Connell a shot, I think we could be good. I did not blink, and I'm looking right at you. And this is the end of my show. I'm being very serious. If you really look at Aiden O'Connell's career, he's got guts. He's big at 215 pounds. He's strong. He's gutsy. And he's one of those guys that's not afraid to get hit, to deliver a perfect pass, get drilled, and get up and give you more. Now, is it a lot to ask for him to come in as a rookie on this offense? Yes, it is. But they did the same thing to Troy Aikman. And I can't compare him to Troy Aikman, but I can compare him in this sense. Troy Aikman started as a rookie, only won one game. Very next year, they won the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to Aiden O'Connell. I'm just saying it can't happen if we don't try. And I don't think the traditional baby stepsing of Aiden O'Connell is a good idea, especially if you do think you're going to have another bad year and you're going to go after Caleb Williams, then just let Aiden O'Connell go out there and let it rip. Now, that's with the assumption that Jimmy G-Spot, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get hurt. I just think he's going to get hurt. And I want to reiterate again, so when my prediction comes true, I look like a genius. I don't already. Come on, be honest. You're watching me, aren't you? Yeah, that's right, you are. No, seriously. Week 4, Jimmy Garoppolo goes down. Week 4, Jimmy Garoppolo goes down. I don't think he lasts more than week 4. I think he's going to last just long enough to pass the contract parameters. Now, in reality, he just has to pass his physical and pass by completing the first game. He has to go out on the field. He has to play in that game, and he has to survive till the end of that game. If he gets injured in game 1, even if he passes physical, he does not, I repeat, does not get his injury clause money unless he passes a physical and starts game 1 of the season and completes that game without an injury. Then all the accelerators in his contract kick in, and then week 2, week 3, week 4, he'll go out there, he'll give it his best. But I think he's going to probably get hit at some point. I don't even think he'll necessarily be hurt. And all he's got to do is say, oh, my foot again. Oh, I can't stand on it. I can't put weight on it. Oh, no. And then they'll cart him off the field. And then you can't look at x-rays and see the truth of what a player's feeling. You just can't. You have to go on what he's saying. And because he's a veteran, he'll fight him. He'll get his money, and he'll walk off in the sunset probably next year or the year after that. And that'll be it. So I just say if he even hints that he's hurt, if week 2 he even so much as like wobbles or or seems like he's stuttering in his step, I pull him. So Alexa, play Hide by NASA. Appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. I love you all. And remember, like and follow me on YouTube. And if you would, consider a subscription on Facebook. I really appreciate it because we're changing the world one coin at a time. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love. R8RBEAR! Woo! And I will see you tomorrow. I'm doing double duty. I'm going on for my supporters and again at 8. 2 shows tomorrow. 2 shows tomorrow. No, not free. No, not free. Maybe free. Look for me tomorrow. I'm not going to say why, but we have stuff to talk about. I'm just saying. Corinna Trillo said maybe week 2. Love you, girl. Anna Diaz Rincon, my first supporter ever. Love you, girl. Stephen Shaw, God bless you, brother. Have a good night. Robert Cortez, appreciate the love. You have a great night, brother. Peace out, Stephen Lee. Troy Gill, much love to you, brother. Have a great night. Corinna Trujillo, Anna Diaz Rincon, Mike Brown, Jerome Coleman, my twin brother, Hannah Moku, and everyone else that tuned in. Bob Ware, Mark Alvarez, I love you guys. Darren Patterson, and I'll see you tomorrow. Raider Bear, family page. Peace. Peace. Peace.